Sorry for the delay. Technical difficulties. Had to reboot. Can y'all hear me okay? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Let me get the chat up here where I can see it. Stand by. All right. Howdy, y'all. Howdy from Central Texas. Damn near winter here. 37 degrees. We ain't used to this, you guys. All right. We got a few things to talk about. I'm going to touch on DRS briefly. I've been getting questions all weekend about MMTLP. I've tweeted out some stuff about daily short volume. I want to go over that with you guys briefly in case you're not on Twitter or you're not checking the community tab. And maybe we'll talk about FTX, although I'm just going to share opinions with you on that. I have been looking into it for a week, but I am no wrapped token expert. And then, of course, whatever questions you guys want to ask. This is informal. We're going to have fun. Grab your beer, grab your shots. I got mine. And yeah, tomorrow's going to be an interesting day in the United States. This is going to be a short trading week. Thursday, markets are closed. If I'm not mistaken, Friday, I think they close at 1 o'clock. I want to hear about what movies you guys went to see this weekend. We went to go see The Menu. Highly recommended if you have not seen that yet. And I was going to do a twofer movie weekend because I still want to see Pray for the Devil. And I realized that today and Monday, at least in my city, are the last possible days to see Pray for the Devil in the theater. So if you guys are thinking about seeing that and you want it on the big screen, check your local listings. Whoo. Good stuff. Two-wheel rides, Hello T in Seattle. Who else we got in here? Birdman, Yuka, Ellie, Tammy, Six Son, Juicy, got you crazy. Good evening, Lordy. Is it normal that the market is open, Toby? Well, we're closed for Thanksgiving, so on Thursday. And if you guys didn't see the notice, we are planning on doing a Apesgiving or a Friendsgiving, if you will. If any of you guys are in the Central Texas area and you want to get together to break some bread and have some drinks, Scarlett and I would like to do that with you guys. I've got a few people that I know are going to be here, viewers of the channel. If you're in town, shoot me a DM on Twitter or get in touch with me, and we'll let you know. We haven't picked the place yet. It's going to be somewhere informal. I was going to do it on Friday. I need to talk to some of the folks that already said they're interested, but Scarlett has to work on Friday. So she's asking if we could possibly do Saturday. So that might be, we might push it to Saturday, but I will check with the people who've already said they want to meet up, and then we'll go from there. Grandpa Barney in the house. Thank you, Grandpa. Love you, brother. Have another one for Grandpa. Grandpa had a blast having breakfast with Mike. Was that the one that you took the picture with, Grandpa? And tell us about your movie experience also. Did you just recently upgrade to the A-list? And what an experience that is, huh? I love being an A-list member. Skipping the lines on those busy weekend nights, going right to the front and that special VIP line does make it just a little bit nicer. And all the benefits, man, too. Guys, people should be talking up Stubs and A-list membership. I cannot tell you, when the last movie that we went to go see, Black Panther, I had so many credits because you get these every time you go spend money, they give you $5 credits. I had a stack of them. We did not pay for any of our food. I almost feel bad, like I'm trying to spend money on concessions. That's straight to the bottom line popcorn bucket. But I mean, how much do I want these credits to stack up? At some point, I just use them. So ding, 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 ding. Activate, 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 activate. All our food free. Plus, with the A-list membership, my movie's free. And I got to get Scarlett set up on hers. So that is on the list of to-dos. Have I tried Crown Royal 18? I've had Crown Royal, Lauren, and I like it. I don't know that I've had Crown Royal 18. Someone said the screen is freezing. Let me see if I got any YouTube errors. Stream health. Warning, the system bit rate is slow. Oh no. Now it says we're good though. All right, well let's hope that this is not a problem all night. Lauren, yes, it's either going to be this Friday or this Saturday, right after Thanksgiving. If we do it on Friday, the Apesgiving, I call it, it'll be a late lunch so that everybody has time to digest all your Thanksgiving meal. And wherever we pick, if you wear AMC merch, GameStop merch, no, I don't have any merch for sale. Just anything AMC, GameStop, or with an ape on it, we will buy your first drink. Can't beat that deal. Mastalorian, I talked to him, G Immortal, on, I think it was Friday night. I fell asleep a little bit early, and I woke up around 1 in the morning, and I saw I had a missed call from him like at 12:30 in the morning, which is not normal for him. I was like, oh no, something happened. Something happened to Mastalorian. So I called him back at 1:30 or whenever I woke up, and we ended up talking until 3:30, 4 in the morning, because we've been playing phone tag for weeks. So he's doing well. He is working on a lot of videos for you guys. And I sent the invite out to several people to join in tonight. So maybe we'll get some guests, but haven't heard back from anybody yet. So we'll do it solo until then. And if nobody joins in, that's cool. I just miss hanging out with you guys. Scarlett was not very happy, and sorry for the late start, but we were watching Yellowstone, and then I was going to make myself walk away before Tulsa King started up with Sylvester Stallone, but it started up, and then I got hooked on that. So, all right. What if I bring an actual ape? Yuka, if you can bring an actual ape, I'll buy your drinks all night. No fanny packs. If you walk in with a fanny pack, we're going to kick you out the door, and I will wear my boots. So it's not going to be comfortable. All right. We're going to talk about MMTLP in 1 second, Ellie. But first, I was waiting for enough people to get on to hear this one more time. And guys, I know if you regularly watch my channel, we've had this discussion literally 1,000 times. So the tweet and the post that I put out on the community tab was not for you, because you guys already know this, but for all the silly little kids on Twitter that keep on trying to lump me into the anti-DRS movement. I guess there's factions, little emotional fighters, pro-DRS, anti-DRS. You guys know I want nothing to do with drama or people that can't have a logical argument. And they're so up in their emotions, they can't have a discussion on the merits or the due diligence, that they resort to personal attacks. You've seen all that nonsense. And hey, you guys do your thing. You guys battle it out. I am not a financial advisor. And let me just tell you my position on DRS and why I am not going to instruct anyone what to do. Do it, don't do it. That's not my job. You guys have seen all the YouTubers and celebrities that were pushing FTX and how people want them to go to jail. They want them arrested. They want them fined for giving financial advice. Can you imagine how bad I would feel? And I honestly, if you're pushing DRS or anything really, I want you to consider the consequences of the remote but still possibility that if there is a squeeze, and you've been telling people for 2 years to DRS, and were computer share to have a malfunction because of millions of people trying to hit it at the same time, even if it's a slowdown and people can't get through to execute their orders, who are they going to come after? They being everybody on YouTube and Twitter. They're going to come after the people that were pushing computer share. I do not want to be in the middle of that. It's not my job to tell you to DRS or not DRS. I'll tell you happily what I'm doing. I'll tell you the due diligence I know about it, but I'm not going to push it or not push it. You guys do what you want. That has always been the message here. I've never shied away from the conversation, but I also have been, at least to the best of my knowledge, very careful to not give people specific advice about DRS, because who wants to be over the barrel when they come after you with the arrows and the axe because something went wrong? Not me. So to be clear, I have no instructions for anybody pro or con DRS. There's years of information. You've had a lot of time to go look into it. You make your own best decision. All right, now let's move on to MMTLP. MMTLP, Meta Materials Preferred Stock. I've got a screen I want to share with you. Let me see if I can get it up here. Get the screen up, I mean. You're so funny, Tony. All right, I also shared this over the weekend, and guys, if you're not following me on Twitter or you don't regularly check in the community tab, as I come across this stuff, I put it out there. A lot of people have been, asking, what we're being told, Tony, by all these channels that MMTLP is going to short squeeze because of this massive short interest. And I'm like, okay, well, I've been looking and I've really been having trouble getting accurate numbers on what is the short interest. And if guys, if you don't like data, you should just leave right now. If you like hopium, things that people just make up and tell you, just leave right now, because we're going to go over the data that we can see, and then I'll talk about the hopium. But the data that we can see, the real short interest is consistently been around 6 million shares on MMTLP. Now, I've seen all the numbers. I've seen all the DD people saying 60 to 80 million. Okay, but I got months here of data reported to Fintel, to the SEC, saying it's 6.5 million shares. So I just want to share that with you. And then now let's talk about the 60 to 80 million. Now, the claim is synthetics, or the claim is shares from Torchlight from a year ago that never got covered. They've just been magically carried and never reported for the last year. 60 to 80 million, we're not going to report it. Okay, maybe. If that's true, this thing's going to squeeze like a motherfucker. But 6 million would be about 3% short interest. If that is true, I don't think you're going to really see a short squeeze to 100 or 1,000 bucks. The other thing that I want you to do is go back 1 year and search for Torchlight short squeeze videos, because all these same people telling you right now that this is going to be a massive run up were making videos a year ago saying the exact same thing about Torchlight. Oh, due to this merger, the shorts must cover. It's going to 100. It's going to 1,000. Those videos are still out there. And since it didn't work, now they've rebooted their story to MMTLP and somehow magically carried invisible 60 to 80 million shorts for the last year. And now Now it's going to squeeze. Maybe it will, guys. Look, like someone said earlier in the chat, he's got hairy balls, but he doesn't have a crystal ball. I do not have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you, because I cannot see it, that there are 60 to 80 million shorts being magically carried. I can show you the data. You do your own DD. Go back and watch all those videos on Torchlight and scratch your head and wonder, well, how did they get it so wrong? But this time they're going to be right. What else did I want to say about MMT? Oh, I think, here's what I think. This is just my opinion, not financial advice. I think that there could be a chance for some FOMO run up next week. There's a lot of attention on MMTLP. It's been a hell of a run up already on this thing. From what, $1, $2 to recently $9 or $10. And by the way, that's what Torchlight got up to, $10. And then it crashed back down. There could be some FOMO, assuming that I saw the tweet from the CEO of Meta that the S1 was filed, and we're still waiting on the formal SEC paperwork. I didn't check today, but yesterday it was not with the SEC. So I'm expecting he's a man of his word, and we should see it on Monday, and then the countdown begins. There could be some FOMO based on people being excited about that. Don't count out retail's ability to run something up. But I think that also people that don't want to hold into the next bridge, because MMTLP, I had people asking me this weekend, is it going to merge with Meta? What's going to happen? It's going to be delisted. You're going to get a new company called NextBridge that is a private company, not tradable anywhere. So if you hold all the way through, if you do nothing, you will get NextBridge shares and you will not be able to trade them until at some point in the future, if NextBridge decides to do an IPO, which they've already disclosed in their paperwork that they will need to do dilution when they IPO, because they're going to need to do a money raise. That's all. That's not my opinion. That's from their documents. So you want to hold all the way through because you think the oil leases or the real estate or whatever is valuable. Hey, you do you. I'm just sharing what I've learned about this, and I certainly have not been following it for a year, but I've been following it for a month or two. So I think that there is a chance of FOMO, but there's also going to be people wanting to get out before the delisting because they don't want to hold something they can't trade. And that you should think that that would probably include institutions. No, Tony, they tell me in the comments, Tony, the institutions, why wouldn't they want to hold a stock that has valuable oil leases and land? Because they can't trade it. If it was me, if I was an institution, I'd be dumping it before the delisting. But I mean, I'm not in everybody's brain. I'm not in every company's brain. So look, like I said over the weekend, I cannot predict exactly what is going to happen with MMTLP. I think it's going to be a battle between the last minute FOMO people. You guys know a couple of those versus the profit taking day trading people. You guys know a couple of those. I threw some names out in the Discord just to cement that image home. Who is the type of investor to buy something at the top because they heard about it for weeks and they finally, oh, it's finally going to run. Let me jump in at $9. And then it immediately drops to $4. Versus that other guy who is just ready to get in for a few minutes, capitalize on the run, and get right back out same day or the next day. You guys know a few of those characters. I think it's going to be a battle between those characters. Could be wrong. I'm going to be watching it close. If I see an opportunity to jump in and jump out, I will be doing that. But I'm just sharing my thoughts, the data that I can see. You guys do what you think is best for you. Hopefully you're already well ahead on that play. There was a shit ton of opportunity in the last 4 or 5 weeks to rack up some great gains on MMTLP. And congrats if you did. Ellie, to answer your question, yes, I may dabble. I'll be up at market open watching it. And if it is moving, yes, I will get in. I don't know how long I will stay in, Might be a matter of minutes. It might be a day. As far as the shorts have to cover, yes, I hear that a lot. Tony, you just don't understand. The shorts have to cover before the merger, before the delisting. What can I say, guys? I mean, I can tell you what I've done, which is talk to a well-known national short seller and talk to the trade desk at Fidelity. I asked them, how many shorts called you to cover Twitter before they got delisted and taken private? There's like how many millions of shares of Twitter? There was a pretty good short interest on Twitter. Guess what his answer was? 0. The institutional short seller, I asked him a question. I said, if a company's being taken private and you're borrowing from a lender, is there a requirement that you must cover before a company goes private? He said, absolutely not. So I asked him, so the lender, if they don't want to hold the shares of the private company, they could just let you keep them or whatever, and you pay them the cash for what you borrowed? He said, yes. So that was the extent of the due diligence that I did. I know there's a lot of people that think the shorts have to cover, and maybe they do. I'm just telling you what I did and what I found out. That doesn't mean that I'm right. Does not mean that I'm right. I'm not trying to talk anybody out of the play. I am going to be watching it for an opportunity to jump in. But I just have a hard time getting behind this $100,000, $100 to $1,000 price targets. If I jump in and it runs, beautiful. But this is the channel of sanity and non-hopium. So I'm giving you the dose of that, and I urge you to do your own due diligence. Call a trade desk. Fidelity did tell me that, at the end, when it is delisted, if there are still open short positions from retail customers, they will close you out right before it gets delisted. But I don't think they're expecting to be flooded with calls from shorts tomorrow. Let's put it that way. Steven's joining us. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you doing tonight, Tony?
I need to plug in my headset. Hang on, Steven, because
It's okay.
with a new one, so I didn't have my earpiece in.
How are you guys doing tonight, everybody? Thanks for inviting
Hopefully
me
I
on.
don't crash my computer. I think the most important thing that you guys can do is see who's making these price predictions. Go back and see if they made a torchlight to 100 video.
Oh, I
Steven,
remember
can you say something now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I gotta maybe change my sound settings. All right, headset.
I think mine's working.
That was my settings.
Oh, yeah, I remember Torchlight. There was a lot of craze behind that. For anyone who was involved in that back then, they went through that merger, right? And then everyone thought that it was going to squeeze.
Yes, yeah, the videos are still there, Steven. I mean, I was looking at the thumbnails this weekend. Everything from $100 to $1,000, and I think it topped out at 10.
Wow, those are large numbers for a company that barely made money,
Same thing people are saying with MMTLP right now, which is, I'm not bearish on MMTLP. I'm just saying, have your expectations, 1 foot grounded in reality. It's great to have 1 foot grounded in a home run, but I don't want to see anybody miss out and then bag hold something because they only heard one side. If the only side you've ever heard is it's going to 1,000, and this is all new information I'm giving you, spend tonight, get off right now, off this live stream, and go research all those torchlight videos. See if the people telling you that MMTLP is going to 100 or 1,000 were the same ones that said that for Torchlight, because I think, you know, accountability and track record is important.
Yeah.
Do they really know how to do DD, or are they just creating videos for clicks?
Right. I mean, there's so many tickers, not just Torchlight. You know, you could go back and I could give you a list of 10 of them that people would pump him and then they'd hope that they'd forget, you know, that they were wrong. There's a lot of but then you get lucky once in a while, right? Like
yes.
APR and
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a piece of it in case you get one of those lucky plays, right? But you also got to, we had so many people get burned on play after play after play in 2021 and 2022 because they were not, no one told them a realistic target. You know, the pie in the sky targets get the clicks. So that's what everybody believes. And this is the reality channel.
It started with Clove. That was the one that started it all. And then it was moving from ticker to ticker to ticker.
Yep.
It just kept going down.
It's the next AMC. Yeah. It's the next GameStop.
Yeah. There's a lot of them, but especially in a bear market, you know, like all stocks sink in a bear market, all stocks rise in a bull market. So you just have to invest at your own risk.
But I do want to be clear, and Stephen, you can, I think you can affirm that I say this often in the Discord, never underestimate the ability or the willingness of retail to buy up an overpriced stock, right?
Right.
I'm not going to discount it and say that it can't run. Absolutely, it can run. We love those plays, but we also get out of them before the average retail trader does.
Yeah, you have to have a plan, and you know, and waiting to see how high it goes is not a plan. You know, you have to judge the retail sentiment. You have to do some at least general research on the stock itself. You don't have to dig too deep if it's just a momentum play, but you just have to have a plan for your own specific risk tolerance.
Yeah, and if you're willing to let it all ride, hey, you do what is good for you. Like, we're not here to give anybody instructions. We're just going over the data that I've found and the due diligence that I've done. So,
is there high short interest on the MMTLP?
So I just had the chart up. It's 6 million shares reported for the last 6 months, which is about 3%.
Only 3% short interest?
Yes, but the videos and Twitter and Stock Twits is telling them 60 to 80 million, not 6 million. Don't look at the data, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Just remember that 80 million shares were never covered when Torchlight merged, and those are still out there, Stephen.
Oh my God. Yeah, that just gives me that's just not the way you invest, you know. You have to there has to be some level of trust, you know. Like I think it happens a lot, right? Where there's so much distrust in this financial system that people tend to take theories, I think, too far sometimes. But you have to really find a level playing field of what you can and can't trust, you know. I blindly trust short interest. So if I see self-reported short interest, I know it's self-reported. I know that it may not be accurate, but that's the best thing I got, right?
It is also required for them to report it to the SEC. This is not optional. Now, yes, it is self-reported and they could lie,
right?
But there's regulations and they do get audited. So what I really want to see, and I was listening again after someone, thank you, Neil, posted the link again to Thomas Petterfee from a year ago, the interview with CNBC. He said this, and I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow because it really pisses me off. He said there is a wide gap, a gaping hole risk in the system by not having shorts report daily short interest and disseminate that information. And I agree.
That would be amazing. Daily reported short interest. Yeah, that you would stop a lot of problems if that happened. And I think you would repair a lot of confidence.
We get this nonsense, twice a month with a 2-week delay. This is bullshit.
Twice a month.
Bullshit. Like I'm trying to talk to you guys about short interest on MMTLP, and the last info I can see was 20 days ago. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
That we have a disadvantage.
Tony, with the Bloomberg terminal, do you see it faster?
No, because this is what's reported. I mean, I don't have a Bloomberg terminal, but as far as I know, this is every data source gets their info from this, except someone like Ortex, which has lenders giving them info. This information, what I just showed, comes from the short sellers.
Yeah.
Ortex shows data reported by lenders, which is also self-reported, but that's why it's more up to date, because the lenders are saying how much they are lending out, how much they have available, what was returned every day.
Right.
So
yeah, we'll be watching. Well, I'll watch this stock for sure, but
yes,
I wouldn't touch it though if it wasn't moving, you know?
Yeah, I would encourage all of you to watch it. There may be a great potential for a momentum play on this, but be careful is all I'm saying about the targets you're hearing. That's all. I will definitely be watching, and I will be definitely jumping in if it's moving. I mean, a 5-point move from 8.5 to $14, that's still a good day trade if that happens.
Yeah, well, I think we'll know, right? Pre-market if it's considerably up. But
it's OTC. So
this is OTC. I didn't even know. I'm a little behind on the runners lately, but that's even riskier. But if you want to have fun, like Tony says, it's fun money, right? Like I wouldn't mess around anything with this unless it was money I wouldn't be willing to put into a slot machine. It's got to be the same amount of forgiveness.
The other thing that we should probably just touch on real quick, because there was some, and I may do a video on this also this week. There were some new happenings in Mullen, some new filings. Did you hear about this, Stephen?
A little bit, but go ahead.
So David Mishery sold himself one preferred share of Mullen stock.
He sold himself one
share. Wait for the second boot to drop, Stephen. Mullen is at 26 cents, and they did get a delisting notice, which is, coming up in a few months. They're going to be delisted or have to reverse split. And obviously, the shareholders probably don't want to do the reverse split.
Right.
He sold himself one preferred share for $25,000.
What?
That gives him 1.3 billion shares of voting rights.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Now wait for the third boot to drop, squat and drop the third one. This one's a turd. After a reverse split vote, which he will now be able to push through by virtue of his voting power, voting power, after the reverse split vote, he will be immediately reimbursed his $25,000 and the preferred shares go away. So he did an end run on the common stock shareholders and gave himself enough votes. And icing on the cake, Stephen.
Wow.
Icing on the cake. We want to increase the share float to 5 billion shares.
I mean,
this is not a joke, guys. This is not a fucking joke. They already just increased it to a potential 2.25 billion. Now it's going to go to 5 billion.
5 billion shares?
Yes.
I didn't know we were talking about like Netflix or something,
And the videos are already coming out, Stephen. Guys, don't worry about this. This is bullish.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yes.
Yeah, if they're not making cars, if they're not making revenue, any company, guys, Mullen, it doesn't matter. If they're not pulling in revenue, you have to see it for what it is.
Clearly they need money. Clearly they don't want to be delisted. He's doing the right things to ensure the survival of the company, like any CEO would, until he gets into production and gets revenue going. But that 5 billion shares is because he's probably going to keep on raising money. So all I'm saying is you guys need to be aware of that, and you need to be very suspicious of anyone telling you all of this is bullish. Just like, I was arguing with people months ago that they were definitely going to approve the dilution to 2.25 billion total shares. It was 1.75 in the vote. Oh no, we're going to vote it down. I was like, if you vote it down, they will go bankrupt. They need to cash raise. They need the ability. So Mullen ensured their survival by doing that dilution vote, but clearly they see that they're going to need more money. So there's going to be another dilution approval to 5 billion shares.
Yeah, they already have a lot of shares outstanding at only 26 cent price. That's not good. That's bearish right off the start. You shouldn't have 509 million shares outstanding and be worth 26 cents.
I had previously said, running up until Friday when all this news dropped, that I was going to buy Mullen just for a wing and a prayer at 25 cents. I will tell you straight up, I'm reevaluating that decision in light of this recent SEC filings.
That's what you got to do, though. I mean, you have to be willing to change based on the new information that's provided. You can't just say this is bullish and then like you get a bunch of bad news and you just stand by your conviction. You're just going to get washed.
I might still, after the reverse split and it comes back down, which it probably will, I might buy it then because we'll be closer to 2024. But gosh, man, I feel sorry for Mullen stockholders. It does not look bullish to me. That's the nicest way I can say it.
And SNDL did their reverse split too, right?
Yeah, and then it dropped after that. It's at like 26 cents, if you back out the split.
Yeah. At least with SNDL, their shares outstanding is 236 million.
And as Sundial has some things going for them, right? Sundial has sales. They have income coming in. They got these recent acquisitions they did. They have the potential promise of marijuana legalization. That, Sundial's not a dead animal. No. And I'm not saying Mullen's dead either. I'm just saying be careful about FOMOing into Mullen based on people telling you these filings are bullish.
When the CEO does something, guys, listen, follow the money every single time. If the CEO's diluting at $1, I believe that's what happened with Mullen, right? I think they diluted at $1. I got to double check, but that's typically a bearish sign. Don't read into it too much. Just take it for what it is. If the CEO's selling shares over and over again, then same thing.
I get it. I get why he's doing it. He needs a lot of money to get to get into production, and he's doing the best thing he can to ensure he makes it. But it's not great news for shareholders. Just like APE, dilution is not superb for us.
That's not. I just want Adam Aaron to come out and start talking about it more. I think he's not talking about APE enough.
Yeah. But we were talking about that last week. He needs to get on the podium, explain to people why APE is undervalued relative to AMC, why they have the same value, why it's an arbitrage play. He needs to get on the podium and talk about that.
Right, because there's a lot of people that know about AMC, but they know nothing about APE. Like, we all know about APE, but your common investor may not know it even exists.
Or for some reason, they think they're going to avoid dilution by buying AMC, and you're not avoiding dilution. They're all on the same financials. You can see in the income statement, they added all the shares together, including APE, when they calculated earnings per share. They all have the same vote. You're not avoiding anything by buying AMC over APE. So for me, since August 22nd, I've only been buying APE.
Nice.
Oh, I mean, it was nice when it was running up a week ago. It's not so nice back down at $1.38, but I am, I'm relentlessly patient. So.
Yeah, that's right. But you have to be in the market, or else
we're in a bear market. We got, I think, fears that are unsubstantiated APE relative to AMC, and I'm willing to wait for the 2023 movie cycle, the Q4 earnings, the Q1 earnings.
Yeah, that's right.
And as I said in the Discord, if a sweet little unknown catalyst comes along in the meantime, who knows what FTX could kick off? Who knows? You never know what could happen. I'll take it if we get it.
The 23 movie cycle looks amazing. You got Super Mario Brothers, which is going to rock the socks off of families all around the country. You have Ant-Man that's going to start the year off in January. Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels. You have a new Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There's a lot more. I believe it's 25% more movies than this year.
We went to go see The Menu on Friday at 6:30 p.m. 6:30, which is kind of early on a weekend night. Theater was packed.
I've heard really good things about The Menu from a lot of people that have already seen it. Like it's one of the best movies of the year.
Guys, I cannot recommend that movie enough. Look, it's
Really?
not your typical movie. It's a what I call, as an actor.
You have experience.
I love art. I love artsy, different movies. I like something that, the whole Marvel DC thing, shoot 'em up, fight, superheroes. Yeah. That's all fun and cool. And I'm looking for great new special effects. But this one was all about the experience, Stephen.
Nice.
People take a yacht to a remote island where there's a exclusive chef, exclusive restaurant. I think it was $1,500 a person to get in the dinner. And the chef is presenting these dishes one by one, telling a story about each one. And they're trying to figure out, how does this all tie together? And the foodie guy was like, look, there's a theme. We don't understand it now, but we'll get it by the end of the dinner. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I saw that Ralph Fiennes was the chef, and he also played Lord Voldemort in Harry Potter. So I knew he's one of the best actors for villains. That guy. So I knew it was going to be good when I saw he was casted.
The actors were good. The food looked phenomenal. And I saw it was kind of pegged as a horror movie or suspense. I would say it's more of a dark comedy, dark humor. There were many times that myself and many other people in the audience were laughing, but kind of like that, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened.
That's
or I
funny.
Can't believe he just said that type of laugh.
Man.
So go check out The Menu for something different.
Gonna be good. I knew that was going to be good. I see a comment. It says, "Did Tony and Steven talk about this AA tweet on Bob Iger?" There was a shakeup at Disney, right? Is that what happened?
I haven't seen it. Maybe you can pull it up.
Oh, it looks like former CEO Bob Iger would return to head the company for 2 years. That's strange. Bob Chapek, who succeeded Iger in 2020, stepped down.
When?
Disney said Bob Chapek has stepped down from his position and Bob Iger is coming back.
Well, we've been saying for a while that Disney needs a shakeup because they're fucking it up.
Yeah, I mean they've absorbed so many IPs that they have so many fandoms and so many people that are upset with them at the moment that, I mean, they got Pixar, Marvel, Fox, 20th Century Fox. That was the big acquisition. And then Lucasfilm with Star Wars. And then they have Disney Plus that they're trying to manage on the side. And all of a sudden their theme parks too. So it's why people say, like, is Disney going to buy AMC? It's like Disney has a lot more on their plate they got to worry about, like the movie theater. Like they got a lot going on.
Do you guys remember someone asked, what if the chef was cooking humans? I don't want to give the storyline away, but that was what I was thinking going into it. I think Steven was the one that told me, don't read any reviews about this movie before you go see it.
Yeah, the menu.
But so I was thinking in my head, maybe he's secretly cooking humans. There was a movie about 15 years ago about a chef and a dinner where they were serving humans. I forget what it was called. It was the chef, the wife. It was like 4 names of people. Maybe some of y'all remember that movie. But I'm not going to give away what he was cooking or what the secret plot is. Just go see it. I think you'll enjoy it. I see some comments about T+90. I haven't talked about T+90 much. Other, on lives, I talk about it. I've tweeted out about a month ago my due diligence on T+90, what a syndicate is, this regulation that they keep on reposting saying, they're going to have to close. Guys, I cannot tie what they're foisting upon us as being in any way relevant to this play.
Yeah.
And rather than me spend another 20 minutes talking about that, go read my tweets. I show you exactly what a syndicate is and what what they need to cover after 90 days.
Yeah.
Includes things like cell phone bills, travel expenses. It's not cleaning up shorts. And this was not an IPO. So I don't know what to say. I do not agree with T plus 90 as much as it pains me to say that. I wish I could tell you, oh man, I read it and this is spot on. I don't see it.
I feel like Tony, like, and you guys probably already know this, but if you're reading a tweet, if you're wrong, wherever you're at and you see information that says this is going to happen and then this will force shorts to close, right? It's like blah, blah, blah will force shorts to close. That is already extremely speculative and it's most likely wrong. I can comfortably say it's most likely wrong if someone says X will cause shorts to close. The only thing you can comfortably say that will cause short sellers to close is either margin calls or a rising price, which obviously messes them up. That's it. And I hate to
rising price is what causes shorts to close, right?
Right. Because they're not going to sit there and just incur infinite losses, right? Like in theory, it sounds nice, like, oh, they would cover an infinite loss, but they're not going to. They're like us. We look at our portfolios. We look at the price as it goes up. They're just like us. So they're going to cover if the price is rising fast enough. And I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but
yeah, someone remembered the name of the movie. Dartek, thank you. The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. That is a good oldie. Go watch that one after you watch The Menu. That's different plot line, but also a good movie as I recall. Winter Cage, what's going on? Late getting here. Have you discussed MMTLP? Yes, rewind about 10 minutes or so. Let's see. We talked about DRS. We talked about MMTLP. We talked about Mullen. We talked about T plus 90. What else did I want to talk about?
Did you see Wakanda Forever?
We did. The weekend it came out, we saw it.
Nice. What did you think?
I liked it. And Scarlett stayed awake. Like I was telling Massalorian when I talked to him on the phone on Friday night, if Scarlett can stay awake through the whole thing, it's a good movie.
Right. I liked it. I think, guys, if you haven't seen Black Panther 2, definitely go see it. It's not your typical action movie. You can tell they spent a lot of money and it's very good. The action sequences in it is something you're not going to see in other Marvel movies. They're very impressive. And all around, it was really good. Obviously, second biggest movie of the year to Avatar 2 coming out.
Mike's asking about Highcroft. So I did tweet out something about that. There was a recent in the past couple days press release on Highcroft, and I do still have more Highcroft videos coming out. Not specific to Highcroft. Well, one will be, but the next one I'm going to put out this week is going to be how to read these core sample reports so that you can filter. But look, none of us probably are mining experts, but I spent weeks doing all the due diligence on that to tell it to you, explain like I'm 5. What do I need to look at when I'm reading a core sample report? So that video is coming out. It's not specific to Highcroft. And then I have one more that is going to go in details about this new milling operation. And I do have a lot of information on that just because that is their long-term plan. And the press release that came out a couple days ago, you should go read it, especially if you were upset at my first 3 videos on Highcroft, thinking incorrectly that I'm bearish on Highcroft. Could not be further from the truth. I own Highcroft. I have also 2025 calls in line with my thesis that it's a long-term play. But the press release reiterated everything that I said in my first 3 videos. Talked about the fact that they're not really mining, if I recall correctly. Talked about the drilling that they're doing. It talked about the milling operation that they need to get together, and all of this will be making progress into next year. And I just want you guys to have a non-hopium foundation. If gold prices soar or we get a spectacular core sample report, yes, Highcroft could spike.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the plan is they are going to continue drilling. They're going to take all these drilling samples and create a new milling operation, right? All these samples need to be tested. And then the experts take all of these samples and the lab results and they create a factory design, a milling operation design. They spec that out. What's all the equipment we're going to need? And then they've got to build it. So you got to realize that's not going to happen in a month or two. This is a year or two type thing.
Or could 5 or 7, right? Or
well,
7.
I mean, I'm giving you the shortest case, right? The most optimistic.
Oh, that's good.
Case.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it could be multiple years. I don't even want to go there. I'd really piss people off. Tony and his damn facts.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's their plan. They don't have enough cash to go 5 years.
Yeah.
They need to get something.
Yeah.
They need to get something coming. So I think
they're
highly incentivized to get this done and get the milling operation spec'd and built.
Right. I think when they start getting it going, then you'll see the second that it happens, I think you'll see a massive move up.
Yeah. All we need, Mullen moves on news, but the good news would be gold and silver prices go up. That will move Highcroft. Did I say Mullen? That will move Highcroft. And any spectacular core sample, the ones that we've gotten they've been okay. I don't know that I'd call them spectacular, but they've been better than the average of what they have on currently drilling. So it's good, but I want to see spectacular.
Have they actually pulled the ore out of the ground yet, or they just confirmed that there's deposits down there?
There's been years, Stephen, years and years, a decade or more, 15 years of drilling, 5,000 plus holes drilled on that property. They have a very good idea what's under the ground, but they need to expand, go wider and deeper, because the more that they can move from theoretical to confirmed, the easier the sell is, and the better they know what to spec out on this milling operation. The sell to investors, right? Oh, well, we said we had 15 million gold equivalent ounces, but now we can confirm we have 30 million. Wow. That makes building a new milling operation a slam dunk. You're talking 30-40 billion dollars worth of gold coming out of the ground. So you spend $1 billion on a mill, that'll pay for itself easily.
Got to do an 8 field trip to Northern Nevada, I guess.
Don't think I'm not thinking about it. If I come out to Vegas, we might do a field trip to Highcroft.
Yeah. I mean, you've done so much research, right? In the last month on Highcroft, you're going to be a gold expert soon enough.
I will be. I'm not all the way there yet, but I think I could hold my own with anybody who's been doing it for a while.
Nice.
And long term, yes, it is speculative for me. What does speculative mean? It means that right now it's not a sure thing. All the core samples aren't done. The factory, the milling operation's not built. So until all that's done, I got to tell you guys, it's speculative. There's even if they found the biggest gold deposit ever tomorrow, they still got to build the mill and we're going to have to wait. But those type of news announcements would be good for Highcroft if they get them, if they find something. So I'm willing to take a chance. That's why I own the stock, and that's why I waited. I bought it and then I sold it on the run up, and then I bought back in at 68 cents. And if it drops to 50, I'll buy a little more.
Nice.
And I have calls. 2025.
Yep.
So sorry for all the people that think that facts is bearish. I would suggest you probably should step away from the hopium channels or just view them as entertainment.
Right.
Or listen to both. There's no problem listening to both. We all like to have a little hopium in our life.
Yeah. Sometimes the hopium works and it
Sometimes
runs everything up. Yeah.
That's why I have the calls now, Stephen.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
You just can't FOMO in after it's already moved. That's the key. You have to be in there early enough to, impatient enough. You can't wait for Highcroft to go to $1.20 and then comment to Tony, say, am I too late? Can I still come
And
in?
I don't want to be talking to people a year from now saying, Tony, why is Highcroft still at $1?
Right.
Because I'm trying to tell you now, if it is, this is why, because they need to get all this stuff done. You're going to need to be patient with Highcroft. All right. DWACs. You got any thoughts on DWAC, Steven?
I like everybody else thought that when Trump was making his announcement, it would start to affect the stock.
I did too.
It seems like I was wrong.
Yeah.
And nothing really happened. I know they've struggled with funding their finances, DWAC. But I don't know too much about it. I was a little disappointed. I thought that it would move.
I thought for sure, $30-$40 on Trump's announcement, and it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
It did in pre-market for a few minutes. And he's back on Twitter now too, by the way.
Yeah, maybe it's because of Elon owning Twitter, right? Because maybe they look at Elon as competition to Digital World. So
Digital World still also has the problems of, I think another executive resigned, if I'm not mistaken. I might be able to pull it up on the news. And they still have this issue of needing to get the SPAC merger approved.
Yeah. I think it's a competition issue. They don't see Truth Social as a viable social media platform, and that's maybe why it didn't move on that announcement. And it's a who knows, with DWAC. It had an amazing squeeze last year, but that was a different time last year than we're in now.
Yeah, that's why I regretfully opted not to make a DWAC to the moon video, because I mean, the time to be in DWAC was $15.
Yeah.
But by the time, I was traveling to Nashville when that run up started, and I neglected to buy it before. And once it hit in the 20s, 28, 29, I was like, well, I missed that one. And I've told you guys 1,000 times, I do not feel bad if I think I missed something waiting for the next play.
Yeah.
I despise FOMOing into something after a big run up.
The key is to just not get extremely attached to a stock, like I'm attached to AMC. We all love AMC because of the community, and it's something special. That's different. But like plays like DWAC, Mullen, Highcroft, all of these other stocks, you can't just hold them indefinitely. You have to have some kind of plan. Pay attention to the financials, like what Tony's saying. Pay attention to the average news and see how investors respond to that. Investors didn't respond to Trump's announcement. DWAC didn't respond. So you have to take that into consideration, little things like that.
Someone's asking about Rumble and DWAC. Are they sustainable? DWAC has to get the SPAC merger done. They have to.
And they've been struggling to get that merger.
They've rebooted it 6 times, punting the vote or whatever they need to do down the road. So you need to pay attention to that for DWAC. I can't answer if it's sustainable, because if that doesn't go through, then there's not going to be a true social stock.
Yep. And if you hold DWAC, you have a chance of losing your investment. And that's something you should possibly call your broker and talk to them about, because they will give you some clarification on it.
As far as Rumble, I like Rumble. I'm on Rumble. It's very clunky still in its early stage compared to YouTube. As a user, as a content creator, I can tell you it's very clunky. So I'm not the biggest fan of Rumble right now, but yes, it has potential. I've sent them feedback, no answer.
Yeah. Mike says Elon killed DWAC. That's pretty much where I was going with it. Like, I think it's a competition issue. If Elon wasn't involved in Twitter, he wouldn't be a competitor to Donald Trump's platform. So that could have an effect on it, maybe possibly.
Karen, are you still here? Karen said she's leaving. I had a comment for her. And guys, if you're asking about MMAT and MMTLP or Mullen, we already talked about those. So just rewind.
Yep.
Karen, if you're still here, we wanted to see about the possibility of moving the Apesgiving from Friday to Saturday. If you're not still here, I'll message you and the other people that have responded. Are you guys going to be in Austin still, Karen, you and Terry, on Saturday? Because I didn't know that Scarlett had to work on Friday. She would like to go, but if we can't do Saturday, she'll just have to look at photos. Okay, you're leaving Saturday morning. Okay, well we'll stick with Friday. I'll see if maybe she can ask for a long lunch on Friday or something, and we'll pick something closer to where she works.
Skill Stacking says Disney canned the woke CEO, bringing back Iger. I will say one thing. Is Kathleen Kennedy still involved in these projects? Because she's the one who typically has the most power and the say. Like she had the say over Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. So I would make if it's not necessarily the CEO that's woke, it's the executive producers, it's the directors, it's more than just one person.
Did you hear about any change ups with the Marvel franchise or DC?
There is something going on in DC and the Flash. Is that what you're talking about?
Massalorian was. I wish he was on the live stream. He could talk about it because I don't follow this shit that close. Yeah. He was talking about some change up in someone that had the license for them to make all this stuff. He just said, "Forget you guys. You know, you're not sticking to the storyline, and I'm out, or I'm not going to let you make this material."
That's been happening for a lot of movies, not just Disney, Marvel. Like Rocky or Creed 3 with Sylvester Stallone just had that happen. He didn't. Sly Stallone did not like the vision of Creed 3, so they left him out of the project. So it's been happening all over, actually.
Well, good. I've always maintained that eventually capitalism will catch up to these woke movie production companies.
It's I mean, look at Lord of the Rings. I mean, they spent an insane amount of money on Rings of Power. To put into perspective, the cost of Lord of the Rings Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King, all 3 movies by Peter Jackson, cost less than the first season of Rings of Power. That's how much money they spent. And the show didn't do very well. It's got like a 6 out of 10 rating. So that's the formula right now, is to overspend, hope that people like it, but it's catching up to them. It could be the Flash or Henry Cavill.
Yeah, someone said Henry Cavill. Did you guys, Steven, not you guys, did you see how piss poor the numbers are stacking up on what's that other movie, the Woman King?
Oh, Woman King flopped.
Yeah, it's like failure. It's only made like 60 or 90 million so far.
Yeah. They're hoping that they can make up some money on the streaming side, because that's pretty much what happens. If your movie flops in theaters, they take it out and they hope to God that they put it on Netflix or something. They hope that people pick it up. But that movie flopped really badly. It's not the only one. Amsterdam flopped very badly.
Witcher, Justin. Yes. Now you're bringing out the cobwebs of my 3 a.m. phone conversation with
Henry Cavill left The Witcher?
Yeah, that's what Massalorian was telling me. It was something to do with Witcher and Cavill.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like after the 3rd season. Huh.
Jeff says Tony's been out on the prairie rounding up the doggies. I don't know. I don't think I told you guys this story. I did tell them in the Discord that last time I was wearing the hat and the vest on a daytime live stream, and then the market closed, and I ran up to the grocery store. And when I was walking out, this random guy in a security guard outfit, "Oh, excuse me, sir." I was like, "Oh shit." police, security. What the fuck is this dude? He's like, yeah, I was just wondering, do you know where I can buy any farm fresh eggs around here? I was like, because I'm wearing a cowboy hat. He's like, yeah, I figured if anyone would know, it was you. I was like, well, you're speaking to the right son of a bitch. I just happen to have farm fresh eggs. $5 a dozen, sir. Oh, can I get your number? Because I don't like going in that store and buying that poison they have in there. You know how he actually said, you know how us conspiracy theory people think. I was like, I know.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, apparently if you wear, and then he said, do you know where I can get any farm fresh butter? I was like, fresh out of luck. We ain't got no cows yet. Yeah, give me a little time. We're working on that.
I'm gonna pull up the box office tracking and see how Woman King actually did. I want to see the numbers. I know they're not good though.
Justin said apparently writers of Witcher hated the show and were making fun of the lore.
Oh, yeah, it's mainly based off the book, so that doesn't surprise me.
I don't know. We started watching Witcher. I'm only a few episodes in, and then some other things came up, and I haven't been able to stick with it. But I've enjoyed it so far.
Looks like a $20 million loss. That's actually not that bad for Woman King,
including marketing cost.
Yeah, it's everything. They're only down 20 million.
Oh, well, all right. They'll make that up on pay-per-view.
I got a few more movies though that are way worse. Amsterdam bombed at 103 million in the red.
103?
Yeah, that movie got smoked.
I don't even know what that movie. I don't even know what that movie is.
That's the problem. They didn't market it well at all, but yet it has a stellar cast. It has Christian Bale, Margot Robbie. It has like 10 Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. I remember now all the actors. I was like, this has got to be a hit.
Yeah. Rami Malek and all this stuff. Well, the thing is, Tony, like in the 10 years ago or longer, it was all about, how do I say?
Star power.
Star power. There you go. Yeah. And now star power is gone. Like one actor doesn't sell a movie anymore. And Hollywood's having a hard time dealing with this, but Amsterdam was what the ultimate, like they tried to line it up with star power and then nobody watched it. I've never seen the movie, but 103 million speaks for itself. So there's a few others that bombed recently. But overall, we're doing very well. Buzz Lightyear hurt pretty bad, I'd say, last year. It was supposed to be good for Q2 earnings, remember, and then Buzz Lightyear completely flopped. But
what other questions do you guys have for me or Steven? Steven's more of the movie expert, but he's also got a good head on his shoulders for trading and common sense, which is why I like having him on here. Steven, you want to tell us anything about this new business you're starting up? Because we've been talking about that. If you want to share anything, I don't want to put you to the wolves and have everybody start, stalking you too. But if there's anything you want to share.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So the people that are closest to me in the community know this already, but I'm a professional chess player. I go to elementary schools and I teach kids, and I do all sorts of community after school enrichment programs. So I started my own business. It's called Red Lion Chess Academy, and I teach chess all the way from beginner to advanced online. I have a huge passion for it, teaching kids and adults. I have a separate Discord for that and a website. If you guys play chess, whether it's casual or you want to pick up the game again, ever since the Queen's Gambit came out on Netflix, everybody's been all about it, which is nice to see. So Red Lion Chess Academy, and me and a few other apes, we all play together, like the deaf guy, Cassius Bozeman, Casey Shaw. We all play chess together to pass the time. Anything in the down market, we pass the time, and it's a good time. So if you guys want to support me and my business, check out redlionchessacademy.com. Thank you, Tony.
And I don't push a Discord, and I'm certainly not, but in our Discord, we have other entrepreneurs. And, I have for the last, I stopped counting, 15, 20 years, started several different businesses. Some have worked, some have not worked. That's the school of hard knocks. Not everything you try works, but I'm happy to share that knowledge, whatever I can, with you guys, just like I did, give Stephen some advice. And I'm happy to see you, brother, getting this launched. Congratulations. Round of applause to you. And I wish you much success.
Thank you. And that's the wonderful thing about this community. We're all AMC holders, but we all support each other. I like to see small business supporting other small business, in any way, shape, or form. So
can you remember the one thing that I told you in the very beginning when you were talking about trying to figure out what business to start?
Yeah, I remember it all. You said a lot of things. So let me think. Avoid a brick and mortar if you can. Don't pay rent if you can. Avoid employees if you can. And get a CPA for your accounting. And
you were trying to choose what business to start.
You said online, like bring your stuff online and make it purchasable over and over again, like an ebook.
And more importantly than all of that, find something that you enjoy doing.
Right. Like, exactly. Yeah.
Figure out a way to monetize your expertise or the things that you enjoy. And then avoid all the mistakes that many of us make, which is paying rent, having employees. If you can figure out a way, not every business, you can't avoid that with every business, but if you can, these are easy mistakes, which can trap people and, have cost me a lot of money or failed businesses.
I'm really lucky with that because for me, I don't necessarily pay rent. I just go to a school or a educational setting, and then I pay like a fee to use the space. And then the parents or whoever would reimburse me in that way. So it's a lot better where I don't have to have a stationary brick and mortar. And then I avoid the employees because typically chess instructors are independent contractors. So it's completely different than a traditional work environment.
And the parting thoughts I'm going to leave you with, Stephen, and I will keep on reminding you of this. Do not be afraid to increase your prices as you grow this business and establish some credibility.
Right. Do you see that with other startups?
I think a biggest mistake that people make is trying to discount their prices until they're not profitable. And you should be thinking the opposite. Value your time, value what you're doing, value your expertise, and create a premium service, something that you can charge even more than the going rate. That is the secret to success. Look at all the luxury brands. They almost never even take a hit, even in recessionary times, because they've established themselves as a premium product or a premium offering.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate that. I obviously support anyone who's doing small business. I've got to know a lot of you guys that are in the APE community, and I really like that we can talk about other things outside of AMC here and there because we're all people at the end of the day. So it's refreshing.
For those that are just joining in, the order of topics, if you want to rewind, we talked about my thoughts on DRS. We talked about MMTLP. We talked about Mullen. We talked about Highcroft. And we talked about some movie stuff. And we talked about what else?
Mullen, Highcroft, MMTLP, DRS.
DRS was the first topic. DRS, MMTLP, Mullen, DWAC, Highcroft. So yeah, I'm not gonna repeat all of that, but you can rewind.
Yeah. But I think AMC and all these stocks, they're gonna have their day. Like I think the Ukraine war is what really messed up the market. Ever since February, it's been just getting chopped down. I think you just need two things to happen for things to return to normal, which is the Fed to start pivoting a little bit or even lowering their 75 basis to 50. That would be a start. And then the Ukraine war ending would be the icing on the cake. And then we're in a bull market again, So.
Yeah, I need to do a refresh. I know some of the Fed folks were talking last week. I need to do a refresh on headlines. And we'll talk about that more this week. Anthony says, how does stock exchanges like NASDAQ fairly evaluate and determine the price of stocks for businesses that are purely e-commerce? So the exchanges don't determine the price. We do.
Yeah.
Institutions and retail investors that are wanting to buy these companies, and some of them are evaluated on earnings. So you have a PE ratio, price to earnings, price of the stock relative to the earnings. And if it's a company that people think is going to be fantastically successful in the future, you may have a higher price to earnings. The price might be out of whack compared to its peers,
Right.
because people are more bullish about the future prospects of that company. And that might be another video I do. Looking. There's a what's the phrase? There's a trailing 12 months price to earnings, and there's a future price to earnings. There's different price PE ratios. It is important when you're looking at it to know which one you're looking at. But earnings is one thing that people look at. If a company is not making money, like did Twitter ever make a profit, for example? I don't.
It did 1 year. It was the year when Trump was going all crazy on it. It was like 2015.
Another example, years and years and years that Amazon was not making a profit, but people were paying for the stock and running the price up because they believed in the future vision that it would get to a point of profitability. And maybe something like a Mullen, 25 cents could be a good investment 5 years from now if they get up and running and producing cars and become profitable. But that is all just investor sentiment at that point. You're betting on the future success. So you really need to understand the business and the vision and keep very close tabs on, are they progressing towards that vision? And that's what's so hard with something like Mullen right now. Like, what are they? They're not producing anything. We're all just, everyone that's buying Mullen is counting on them to deliver in 2024. But right now it's just a crapshoot.
Yeah, all money is just getting taken out of growth. Anything that needs growth, like or tech, you're just going to get money taken out in bear markets.
What do you mean taken out? Like people selling the stock?
That and institutions just not interested in buying it.
Yeah, so that's a good segue into something that we've talked about over the last, many times over the last year. When interest rates go up, and bonds become more attractive, or treasuries, and combined with that, people are saying, oh, it's going to be a recession. All of these companies are going to not make as much money. So the earnings are going to come down. That is also going to cause people to sell, because they're not willing to pay $300 for something if the earnings are going to drop 50%. The price is going to fall to reflect people's expectations of what earnings are going to be next quarter or 2 quarters from now. That's why all these stocks have been coming down. And that's why on many of these companies like Meta, some of the other ones, you've seen these massive drops when they lost a lot of money and the guidance is poor. We all knew this was coming with the interest rates going up and the recession, but it took a few quarters for these shoes to start dropping. And this may not be the end, but we'll have to be keeping a close eye on inflation and what the Fed is doing with interest rates.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I did see Bitcoin hit 15,000 earlier today. Did you see that?
The last time I checked it, Stephen, I was reading some headlines that scared me, and it was at 16,200. I'm looking
520.
I'm looking now. It's at 16,111. For those who've been in my Discord or listening to the occasional live streams that I do, I have been saying for the last about week or so since FTX got announced that I have been moving the majority of my crypto into cash, not just cold wallet, cash. as a cautionary measure that crypto capitulates and Bitcoin drops to 10 or 12,000. I don't know that will happen, but I don't think that the saga of FTX and Genesis and what else is going on out there? There are a couple that are still on the fence.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look, I've already wrote it down. I'm going to sit on the sidelines for a few more days. And if I miss Bitcoin running from 16 to 18, that's not the end of my world.
No.
But if it drops to 12, I'm going to fucking hate myself.
I mean, did you ever think Solana would be $11.74 right now?
No,
Like,
I didn't think that. I didn't think that any of them would be where they're at. But I am bullish on crypto long term. But
yep.
After Voyager and now FTX, I'm even more fearful. And how often do you hear me say I'm fearful of something? Not very often. Not very often, but yeah. I am very concerned that there could be some more unraveling in crypto world. So I'm just going to sit on the sidelines for a few more days.
All my crypto is in the cold wallet also. I like crypto. I like the idea of decentralized finance, but I don't like the idea of unregulated exchanges and human error, and them being able to take our money and do what they want with it, right? Like the general idea of crypto is great, but you need some form of regulation. And I think if we get regulation on crypto, hopefully good regulation, then it would increase the price of crypto. The more confidence would come into the institutions.
Someone's asking about airlines. I have Boeing on my list to do a deep dive on. I would like to finish. I'd like to finish going through all the EV manufacturers. I might get a Mullen video out first and then talk about Boeing.
Anthony, stay away from Frontier. Worst experience ever. Stay away from Spirit, Frontier. I mean, Southwest is pretty standard. They have a good reputation, good employees. United, I think, is still considered the best for international, but fact check that. But no matter what, just stay away from Frontier and Spirit if you're talking about buying.
The discount airlines, right?
They're terrible. They don't even let you have water. Like, you got to pay for water. They made the seats super small. They delay almost every flight. Yeah, it's terrible.
I was, I don't know if you caught the live stream when I came back from Nashville. I was talking to my buddy who is a pilot. He was a Navy pilot. Now he's a pilot for a major airline. And he told me, Tony, all these delays that you see about mechanical, that's all lies. They don't have crew.
Oh, that makes sense.
And they don't want to tell you that because then they'll have to refund your money. So they delay an hour, try and get some crew in, then they'll delay it another hour, then they'll delay it another hour, 12 hours sometimes. People are sitting in the airport.
Yeah. And sometimes it's even hard to just get off the plane. They'll land the plane, but like you said, they don't have any ramp agents or anyone to bring in the plane to hook it up to the terminal. So then after they land, you're just sitting in a plane on the ground for an hour or two. Like that's actually what happened to me on Frontier. That's why I say stay away from them.
Mario wants me to give a shout out to Aunt Dawn. Is that Aunt or Tia? Anyways, Aunt Dawn, thank you for listening in. Mario, thank you for listening in. We love you too. We love you too, Dawn.
1796 Patriot says, what's the safest exchange to use for crypto? There is none. There is none. Right now, with everything that's going on, there is none. If you have any doubts, cold storage wallet. People say Coinbase because of the reputation, but the truth is there is none.
Coinbase was the first. When Voyager crashed, I took everything out of Coinbase. The first one that I got rid of. And I moved all that shit into cold storage. And I still had some on Gemini, but I've for the time being, for the next few days, till I figure out exactly what is going to be the fallout from FTX, I'm moving most of my crypto temporarily into cash.
Tony, if we did that, we'd be arrested that day. But Stan Friedman, though, how do you not get arrested?
I don't know. I've been fascinated this weekend keeping up with the drama between Kevin O'Leary and BitBoy. If you guys aren't watching that,
well,
oh my gosh.
Kevin was a big investor in FTX, right?
Kevin, yes. And he even came out after the whole saga and said, I'd still invest with Sam Friedman.
Wow. Even after him losing all his money, huh?
Yeah. So BitBoy is calling him out, saying there's something fishy here. I like Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah, he's
on the Shark Tank, anyways.
Yeah.
But these two guys are going at it. You guys, if you want to, if you want a good Twitter drama, that's a good one to watch.
I don't know the truth, and I don't think anybody does right now, but I have a feeling it's political. They probably are tied.
Those are the allegations, right?
Yeah, they're probably tied into donations or lobbying, or there's got to be something. There's something there that protects them, because I think anyone else would get arrested, but billionaire is not going to get arrested for this.
The bankruptcy paperwork, and there's like 100 to 120 companies that they either FTX owned or worked with that are also part of this bankruptcy. They apparently had no real accounting.
Oh, Jesus.
Everything was going in a slush fund, and then it was all being moved over to their hedge fund. I mean, you could not have had worse management of people's billions of dollars.
Well, the problem, Tony, is these people are young. The guy, Sam Friedman, he's my age, 30 years old. Like, you have a bunch of kids running billion-dollar corporations and with no experience. They were born into it.
I never even paid attention to FTX till it blew up.
Yeah.
Not at all. But then when I started seeing some of the videos, like that Almeida girl saying, "Oh, I don't even use math in my job," and you know, you got to be good with risk, you know, because we take on a lot of risk. I'm like, good Lord. I use elementary math. Girl, if you're using elementary math to run a hedge fund, you're already fucked.
Yeah.
And then some of the interviews I've seen with Sam afterwards, you know, and then Kevin O'Leary is like, oh, if there's anyone I would trust, it's Sam, because his parents are lawyers.
Wow.
Well, he was not taught anything, Kevin.
No.
He was not taught a damn thing.
That's the stuff that makes crypto look bad, you know?
It is.
It's a shame, because the industry, like I said, I believe in it. I believe in the long-term utility of crypto, and it does the other people that are good a disservice, you know? So I say let them all go under. You know, that's the only way they'll learn.
134 companies, these guys are saying. So real quickly, my digging on the 8 quadrillion shares and all the wrap tokens. I could put the screen up, but you know, when I go in and look at all these tokens, the tokenized stocks, and we've had a lot of discussions, me and various people, and sometimes the people that you know that are talking about it, when they hear my viewpoint, I don't hear from them again. Surprise.
Yeah.
Tony's not agreeing with what I say, so let me just not talk to him anymore. When I look at the logs of when these things traded, most of them haven't even traded like in 500, 600 days. Jeez. So like all of this talk about, oh, they're just using it to, you know, every day they're hiding shorts and they're hiding da 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 da. Well, there's no activity going on in these tokens.
That's the AMC token.
Yeah, there's several of them. Right now, there's at least 3 that I know of. The FTX one, another one, and a mirrored one, a wrap token. Again, I'm not an expert on it, but I can look at the logs, and you guys can too, using something like Etherscan. You can see that most of these are not actively traded. So whether or not they're hiding something, I don't know. If they were hiding something, I'd expect to see daily activity in it.
Right.
And I think we all know by now that Adam Aaron has said that, you know, the company was not involved in these. That tweet went out. When was it? March of this year?
Around that. Yeah.
So I know there's also been allegations made that AMC was doing this, you know, to fuck us over. I don't buy that. That's just my opinion. Look, let the investigation happen. Let the people that are interested in it keep digging. Keep digging. I'm not saying don't stop digging. Please do. because if you uncover something, we want to know. But right now, just on the face of it, I am not bought into all that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if those tokens had a big impact on AMC, we would have seen it already. You know, it would have already seen it in the price. Now we could in the future, but I always say it's not a catalyst unless the price moves. And
the most interesting thing to me, someone was asking, could FTX be a catalyst for a stock or the stocks that are shorted? Absolutely.
yeah, I think it's a market catalyst, though.
Regardless of all the tokens, let's set those aside. The sheer amount of money and fuckery that we don't even know about yet, the exposure that all these institutions have to this thing, I can say with pretty high confidence that people are going to lose collateral.
Right.
Institutions are going to lose money. And it may avalanche even worse if confidence in crypto is lost and this thing, the whole crypto market tanks, even more collateral loss. So I'm not discounting FTX as a catalyst. Yes, it could be a catalyst. I'm just not excited about the whole tokenized thread. You know, I'll let the people that are excited about it keep chasing it. Please do. It's not something that I'm really going to be spending any more time on.
Yeah, I wouldn't dig into it too much. I think it's an ongoing criminal investigation at this point.
We're going to get a lot more information as that progresses, but that will take a while.
Absolutely.
The people losing money and losing collateral, that's already happening. Us finding out all the details, that will come out over the next year or two.
Right. CWin05 hits it on the head. He says FTX is more than AMC. It's in every stock. That's what I think. It's a market catalyst. It's a crypto market catalyst.
Yeah.
Not every catalyst impacts AMC.
I don't know if you've noticed, Stephen, there's a tendency to want to tie anything in the world that happens to AMC stock.
No, yeah, that's just not how it works. I mean,
I get it. I get the temptation to do that. I don't do that in my world.
Yeah, that's confirmation bias. Everything is all about you and your investment.
Yeah. But there definitely is potential for a market catalyst, collateral loss for the bad guys in this, and that excites me. So that is the good news.
Yeah, anytime they lose money, it's even better, you know, because if they're on margin or they're doing something weird,
or they were counting on all that inflated assets over there to be collateral for some other plays,
right?
And it evaporates. Beautiful for us. Beautiful.
I mean, look at Meta. I mean, would you rather be an AMC or Meta? You know?
Yeah, they're getting face wiped with a lot of collateral loss.
And their reputation is just terrible. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg invested in VR at the top of the market. Like, it can't get any worse than that.
By they, I mean the hedge funds, right? The guys that were heavy into Meta. I didn't realize I made a pun there. Face wiped Facebook. Get it? That was not intentional, but they are getting face wiped.
Yep.
With Meta and all these collateral losses. That stacks up over time. Yeah. So I'm happy about that.
Remember, hedge funds are also long. They're not just short AMC.
They had huge positions, some of these hedge funds in Facebook, Meta.
There you go.
And some of these other ones that have crashed recently. 24 The Money says O'Leary owns his own mutual fund company. I did not know that. And yeah, all these spokesmen could be getting in legal trouble for not disclosing that they were being paid, even though I think we all knew it.
Yeah.
There's still a requirement to have some like little print disclosure when you're running an ad like that.
Right.
Bloody War says, what about cost to borrow for AMC going higher because they can't use the coins from ATX? Yeah, I don't know. Cost to borrow has been going higher. I don't know that I can draw a solid line for you from crypto tokens to cost to borrow. What I do know is that I'm pulling it up here on the other screen.
I'm looking for it too.
That the utilization has been high since February, 100%. And I've been saying for a long time, at some point, this utilization number is kind of a fuzzy number. I don't believe the 100%, but if it truly is, if we're bumping up against that ceiling. You will know when they're running out of shares to really loan out when you see cost to borrow go up. So I have been super excited these past few weeks seeing the cost to borrow go up to astronomical numbers.
44% is what I'm seeing on AMC, and it spiked up to 100% on November 16th. So it's having massive fluctuations. So there is high demand for this stock
and low availability.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, if we were bumping up against the ceiling on utilization, eventually that was going to come home to roost in higher cost to borrow, and I think we're finally at that point. Could it have something to do with FTX? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I just can't draw the solid line for you, so I can't speak to that. It's possible. MTBR, what's going on? Howdy. S. Jackson says, who trusts lizards? Not us. Not us. Scavenger, what's up? Meta way overvalued. Yeah, I have Meta on my evaluate list after the massive drop, but I haven't convinced myself that I believe in their long-term vision yet.
Meta, yeah.
Meta's gonna.
They're in trouble.
Yeah,
I actually know somebody who is a software developer for them, and so I get all the inside scoop on Meta. And essentially, what you guys need to know is Apple is taking over, and they're hurting their ad revenue. So it's getting more difficult for Facebook to make money, and that's what's caused their earnings to fall.
In a recession, marketers cut back on ad spending, and Meta relies heavily on that, which is hurting them. So you've got to game out how long is this recession, and the hit the advertisers have done to Meta. How long is that all going to play out? And what, is Zuckerberg going to continue to pump money into the metaverse despite, knowing that it's going to lose him a lot of money? I don't know that I have all the answers for that yet. So I can't, I'm not comfortable commenting if Meta is a good buy at this price. I do love buying good companies after a major reversal like this, but I don't know if it's at the point where I'd buy it. I did buy Amazon after their recent quarterly earnings.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at Meta, I see a company that was extremely overvalued, and now they're just the reputation isn't very good. They're losing ad revenue. They're losing revenue all over. I mean, do you guys know anyone who goes on Facebook Marketplace and really purchases a lot of stuff? Like hardly anyone uses it to purchase. So they have Instagram, which is good, but unfortunately, it's going to be a hard road for them.
I was trying to see if I could bring up FTDs.
And Prometheus says, at least the movie theater industry. Yeah, exactly. People are going to keep going to the movies. I think Avatar is going to blow it out of the water. And you guys are going to be really happy with that. Tony, what do you think for projections on Avatar? Do you think we'll break 700 million?
That seems low to me, but what do I know?
Right.
I don't know why it would do worse than Top Gun Maverick. Is that being too optimistic? Top Gun Maverick's at 2.2 billion now.
Yeah, let me pull that up real quick.
I'm seeing if I can pull up the FTD info on MMTLP.
So, Top Gun Maverick domestic box office was 716 million. It's also the number 11 ranked all-time highest grossing movie. International box office 770 million. It's still making money, which is crazy, right? The top 5 movies, highest grossing movies ever, is Avatar, the original, 2009. Then you have Avengers Endgame, Titanic, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and Infinity War Avengers. So if we can crack anywhere in that with Avatar 2, that'd be great. Avatar will bring 1 billion easy. Yeah, I hope so. I think that as long as it has a good story, like we already know what we're going to get with Avatar. We're going to get the great visuals, the good story, character development, but it needs to stick with the emotions and all that. So as long as it's a good story, I think we'll get higher numbers.
If this chart is correct for FTDs on MMTLP, the last number reported was 49,000. So not really a significant amount.
Is there a lot of hype on MMTLP?
Oh,
tomorrow?
yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
for tomorrow specifically?
Because the CEO tweeted out that the S1 was finalized. So now the countdown probably from Monday will start to the delisting. Which, that people think is going to force the shorts to cover. So that is the hype.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see if it's up 20% tomorrow. I'll put it on my watch list.
Prometheus, what's up? Jeffrey Roche, good evening to you. Let's see what other comments we have here. Are there options on MMTLP? I don't know, but I can tell you.
It's OTC, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever bought an OTC stock. It's been a long time since I've messed around with the OTC.
I don't see options on it.
Yeah. Young and old are waiting for avatars. That's right, Prometheus. Yeah, it was a good thing that they re-released Avatar 1. That was a quick $15 million AMC made.
Tim says, no, it's a preferred share. I guess similar to why APE didn't have options, but they sure did try, didn't they? All right, guys. What time is it? 11 o'clock. I'm going to stay on about 7 more minutes. So we'll have a 2-hour live stream. Final chance to get any questions in for Steven or myself. Check out Super Steven's YouTube channel.
That's me, guys.
Tell us your channel name, Steven.
My YouTube channel is Just Another Ape. You guys have heard of that. But if you guys can go subscribe there, that'd be really cool. And also, if you're into chess, redlionchessacademy.com. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and Tony tonight. And Tony, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Glad you could join in. Waiting to see what other questions. If you're just joining in and want to rewind after we finish up here, the order of events that we talked about was my thoughts on DRS, talked about MMTLP, talked about Mullen, we talked about Highcroft. We talked about some.
We went through a lot.
Talked about some movies.
With DRS, Tony, I missed the first part. Is it the same? Do you have the same stance, which is neutral?
Yeah. All right. Just a recap. So maybe no one wants to go back and watch. It was in the very beginning, but Stephen, I'm going to reiterate what I've said 1,000 times because.
Sorry to make you say it 1,001.
No. I don't mind for you guys. It's the people that are criticizing me, saying, oh, Tony's in the anti-DRS gang. Him and his gang are trying to squash DRS. I've never tried to squash DRS. I've always said, you guys do what you want. I'm not here to give you instructions. There's plenty of due diligence out there. If anyone that supports it, content creators, people on Twitter, I love you guys. People that don't support it, I love you guys too. I really don't care about DRS because, well, I'm not going to go into the becauses, but here is the one because. Here's the one because why I'm not going to give you instructions. Stephen, have you seen the people wanting to see YouTubers put in jail for talking about FTX?
No.
Yes.
And it's a good thing I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, there's people wanting these YouTubers strung up for recommending FTX because it lost people money. I do not want to be responsible for giving anyone the financial advice to DRS in case
Yes.
the very remote possibility, right? In the world of possibilities, there are a lot of things that could happen. No one thought FTX was going to go in the crapper, but let's just do a what if. And I'm not saying this would happen, but if there were a short squeeze next week and 4 million people trying to hit computer share at the same time to sell, there is a possibility that it could have some service issues or delays, and people might not get out at the time that they wanted or the price they wanted. I do not want to be responsible for spending 2 years telling you to DRS only to see that happen, because you will come hunting for my head. And you will come hunting for the head of everybody who's been pushing DRS were that to happen. Now, hopefully they've properly stress test their system to handle 4 million people hitting it, all in the same hour when market opens and the stock's at 500 or whatever. Hopefully they can handle that, but I can't tell you with authority that they can. That might be something that the DRS team that are pro DRS might want to get out there in terms of due diligence, have a conversation, and then give us the DD from computer share that they're ready to go and handle that kind of volume. I haven't done it, and I haven't done it. And even if I did it, I don't want to be responsible for telling people and then cost you money.
Let's make that clear, guys. Like, pressuring somebody to DRS, telling them to DRS is financial advice. You're telling them to move money from one area to another while being unlicensed. You're not a professional. You're unlicensed, and you're pressuring somebody to do that, right? And I understand they think in their minds that it could cause a squeeze, but that you're an unlicensed professional. You can't give people buy or sell signals. You can't tell them to do what they want with their money. So anyone who's telling you that, the people on Twitter that are saying this and that, they're unlicensed professionals and they're opening themselves up to liability. So at the end of the day, you just don't want to get mixed up in that. It's just not worth it.
And the fact that I have not taken a stand on it has made them very emotional. Anyone that won't take a stand, it's become an emotional thing. And if there's one thing you guys know about me, I'm not about drama.
No.
So it's unfortunate that they've chosen that path, but that's the path they chose. So it is what it is. But I'm not going to instruct people to DRS. You guys have free will. You make your own choice. All the information is out there. You've had almost 2 years to look into it. You make the best choice for you.
Yeah.
And I will very closely be watching GameStop, because they're leagues ahead of AMC in DRSing. And if it causes a short squeeze, I will be on here every day telling you to DRS your shares for AMC. Absolutely, I will. Guaranteed. Because at that point, it's not financial advice. It's look at what just happened. GameStop 100% DRS and it squoze. Once I have compelling data to share with you, then I'm just sharing data. Right now, everybody's sharing speculation. And I'm not going to do that. That's not what this channel's about.
Andrew, we don't have a full-blown partnership with Disney, but we do have a Disney Rewards credit card. I don't know. So we do work with Disney very closely. The credit card, also they re-released Cars and a bunch of Pixar movies over and again. So maybe they are doing something in the works.
Someone also, I saw a Twitter thread going on, by the way, last thought on DRS. Someone said, well, why would Adam Aaron put in the company report how many people have direct registered their shares? And I know this is difficult for people that are only invested in one stock, but every company tells you how many holders have direct registered. Right. And I pulled up a few. I didn't want to beat people over the head with screenshots, but I guarantee, I'm not going to say everyone because I did not look at 5,000 different stocks, but everyone that I pulled up today has it at least in their 10Ks, the annual report. If not the 10Ks and 10Qs, you can for sure find it in the 10Ks. Just pull up pull up 5 different companies, randomly pick your tickers, pull up a 10K, search for the keyword holders, and almost all of them have a paragraph that say exactly how many people are directly registered, and then they will have a extra sentence that say, and there's far more that own beneficiary shares. That's like people that have their shares at a broker.
Yeah.
So direct registered will be brokers and any individuals that have direct registered. If there's 4,000 that direct registered, probably several hundred of those are brokers or institutions, and then the rest are individuals. But, you know, that I think is a fairly common disclosure. It's not something that Adam Aaron and GameStop are the only ones calling out. It probably is mandatory because everyone that I pulled up had it. And most of these annual reports follow a boilerplate type format. So I am just presuming it's probably standard disclosure.
I'm shocked the DRS conversation is still going. It's been like they're relentless. But
well, I mean, they have every right to. I support all of their freedom of speech. I just wish they'd stick to the due diligence, and, you know, this attacking the community and bringing people down is not helpful.
No,
it's just,
it does nothing for us.
It's very weak. It's very weak.
It does nothing.
We all have the same goal. We have different outlooks on how long it might take or what it might require. That's fine. But we all need to be pulling in the same direction. We need unity, not, what's the opposite of unity, Stephen?
Divisiveness.
Divisiveness. Thank you. Division. I was going to say diffusion, but I knew that wasn't the right word.
Yeah.
We need unity, not division.
Yeah.
All right. We are at the 2-hour mark, right on the dot, as a matter of fact. Since I started a couple minutes late, we'll take one bonus question to get us through to 11:20. Hung 2 says, would the hedgies be able to dump their shares before the DRS guys can cash out? Based on what I know, Hung 2, there's a process you got to go through to sell at DRS. I would urge you to read their own FAQs about how long that takes and what their process is.
Yeah.
What I know with my brokers is if I hit the sell button, it happens instantaneously. There's no process. There is debate, and I've seen people say it takes days, and I've seen people say it takes minutes. Experiment yourself. Try it out.
Yep. You just got to try it out yourself, you know. But it's nothing that I recommend. But if you're curious about it, I think they have a customer service line. You can call them and talk to them about it.
I would say the best way to figure it out is to try it out yourself. Experience the process. Read their forms of how to sell.
Carl J says, I like click sold. That's me, Carl. I want to be able to have the most control over my shares. That's just how I trade.
Sam, thank you. Good night. Appreciate it. BTW, appreciate you. Mr. Mills says computer share is not insured. I think I've seen that they don't have SIPC insurance, but they're also not a broker, right? So I don't know that they are required to have SIP insurance. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. They're not a broker. Your brokers are insured with SIPC. The funny thing about SIPC, Stephen, did you know if a broker goes bankrupt, you know, the SIPC's 250 or 500,000, maybe including cash.
Yeah.
If your broker goes bankrupt and your shares were not sold, if you had, let's pick a random stock, AMC. Let's say AMC ran up, just totally random. Let's say AMC ran up to $400 and your broker declared bankruptcy for whatever reason. I don't think brokers are going to be the ones to go bankrupt. It's more likely going to be first hedge funds or a market maker or an options market maker, because those guys are going to get in trouble first. But then when they can't pay, then some brokers might get in trouble, right? Because they're next in line. Let's just say a broker goes bankrupt and your shares are there and you can't sell because they turned off the electricity. We're declaring bankruptcy. Well, your shares are still going to be there, guys, but you can't sell. SIPC insurance is not going to save you. If AMC runs up to 300 or 400, your broker closes down, and then AMC drops back down to $15. You were not harmed in the terms of SIPC. You still have your shares.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just read that. I read that in the last month when I was really digging into the details of what does SIPC cover. It covers basically fraud or the disappearance of your shares.
You got to trust your broker. Whoever you hold your shares with, you need to 100% trust your broker. If you don't trust your broker, that's a problem.
That's another reason why I recommend you spread your shares out across major brokers. Major, not Robinhoods, not Weebles, not these little, what are those other small ones that are on people's phones? The Cash App. And have your shares spread out among several brokers. So just like FTX, you don't want all your eggs in one basket.
You know why people like Cash App? Because I guess it lets you do a high limit sell order on AMC. You could set it to like 2,000 or something, but most big major brokers won't allow that. Silly.
Was that a joke?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed about the whole, once I had that revelation on SIPC. Okay, well, great. My shares are insured, but if it runs up and I can't sell and then it comes back down, they ain't going to do shit for me.
Yeah.
Very, very frustrating to realize that, but do your own due diligence. Also read up on exactly what does SIPC cover. You know what happens when a broker goes bankrupt? Like when Lehman went bankrupt, in the bankruptcy process, or almost immediately, they transfer all your shares to someone else, but that might take a day. And if the play's already over in a day, you're basically SOL.
Yeah. Anything can happen, guys.
Spread your risk out.
Yeah. With that being said, all my shares are in one broker.
I have mine in three different brokers.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes, and Ellie's saying I don't trust any brokerages. I'm not that. I also try and not recommend a broker. When people say, Tony, which broker do you recommend? I try, just like my thoughts on DRS, I try not to recommend a broker. I say find a major broker that offers the ability to do directed trade so you can avoid the dark pool, and make sure you follow the instructions to set your settings for directed trade. But I probably should follow that up with and spread your shares out across multiple brokers.
Yep.
In case one fucks up in a squeeze.
Yeah.
And then pray to the gods, both old and new, that they don't turn off blanket the buy button across all of them.
Right. You just got to know that you got to bounce back and forth between all your logins and stuff if the stock price is squeezing. Yeah. What if felt like they weren't playing? Moo. Yeah, that's the other one, Moo, that all the content creators are talking about. Side up.
Yeah, I don't have a Moo. Pelosi's Bologna's. What is that? Bologna's. What if the power goes out while you have a high sell limit set? Yeah, I mean, if the broker pulls the plug, if they say they're bankrupt and they get the plug pulled by the DTCC, that's it. Once the DTCC says you're done, we gave you a margin call, an intraday margin call, and you couldn't meet it, or they say we don't have the money, we can't get the funds, we're gonna have to pull the plug. I would wager no matter what you have set, the trading's gonna halt at that broker. You're done. Dunzo.
Yep.
And I would also bet that brokers' insurance, some of them have supplementary insurance besides SIPC. I have not read through every broker's supplementary insurance, but based on what I know, having read what you're covered by on SIPC, as long as you get your shares a couple days or a couple weeks later, if they transfer all the assets to another broker and they give you the instructions, yeah, you still got your shares. Here they are. Sorry, you missed the squeeze.
Oh, God.
They're going to say you weren't financially harmed. That's going to piss a lot of people off. I get it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
read for yourself. Go
As long as you have your
own
shares,
reading.
you never lost anything. That's pretty much what
That is infuriating to me that that's
Yeah.
even a possibility, but that is what I read.
Yeah. Well.
All right, guys, we're
Yep.
going to try and get some rest and get to bed at a decent hour. We watched Yellowstone tonight. That's why I was a little bit later than normal. Loving the new season of Yellowstone. Tulsa King, I watched the first few minutes of that with Sly. That
Was
looks
it
like
good?
a great show too. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Totally not based in reality. Like he sent someone into a car dealership to buy a car with $50K cash and they wouldn't sell him the car, his friend.
Yep.
Because of racial discrimination. So Sly's like, take me there. And then he beat the salesman in the face with a phone. He's like, you're going to sell him that car right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was like, that would never go over in real life, but I love seeing it on TV.
Looks like the creator of Yellowstone is also the creator of Tulsa King, Taylor Sheridan.
I think he's a Texan also, by the way.
Yeah, and 1883. That was great. So it's worth a watch.
Yes. Tulsa King, I mean, I didn't get to see the whole thing because I was getting ready for this live stream, but it looks like it's going to be a good show. Yellowstone season 5 is great. There's a new 1933 or whatever coming out. The next prequel to Yellowstone. So yeah, I'm enjoying that series.
How do you watch Yellowstone? Is that Paramount Plus?
So right now, season 5 is a little different. It's available on Paramount, not Paramount Plus. And then I don't know. I think Paramount Plus does not have it available for streaming in season 5.
Okay.
That's what I read. So we're making sure to set our DVR and record it on Paramount. But so far we've caught all of them at the showtime. And I also read that it is available next day on Amazon Prime, maybe Paramount Plus, but I've read conflicting things about Paramount Plus.
Right.
Go see The Menu at AMC. Yep. Tomorrow might be your last chance to go see Pray for the Devil if that is on your list. I'm probably going to go see that tomorrow around 6:30. In my city, it's the last showing on the big screen. And then December 15th, Avatar coming right up.
Right.
Avatar 2.
It's going to be really good. So
keep an eye on MMTLP. If you want to know my thoughts on that or our discussion, rewind to the beginning of this video. And that's one we're going to be watching for a potential momentum play, but not to the extent that everybody else is saying. If it happens,
yeah, we'll see how it goes. Exactly.
If it happens, fantastic. But I'm not counting on $100 or $1,000. But if it's moving, I'll be playing it in the morning. Peace out. Thank you guys. Love you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you guys.
And we will